Hey everybody, it's your girl Taj, and welcome back to another episode of Talking with Tasja. I am your host, Tasja, and I am so happy that you guys are here tonight. Uh, we starting off higher number than usual. Come on, let's go. I love it. So if you are here and I see that you're here, don't be shy. Say hi. So let me know you're here in the comments. Come on in. Come on in the room. Don't be shy. And while everybody's getting enough strength to say hello, we're gonna talk to you about. We're gonna bring our sponsors for tonight's episode. The first sponsor is Naturally Classy. That is my baby. We are the company that makes natural skin and hair care products. We take care of you from your head to your toes. We believe in taking what God made to help heal what God made. We have body butters, we have bar soaps, we have hair oil, beard butter, hair butter, lip balm, lip scrubs, you name it, we got it, and we're here to take care of you. My other baby, No More Secrets. We are the nonprofit organization where we deal with the topic of domestic violence in the church. We host forums and workshops. We help leaders deal with the topic of domestic violence. If uh, a situation should arise in your ministry, then we are definitely more than able and capable to help you with it. It is definitely more than fasting and praying. So if you're not qualified in the situation, we are here to help you and also help to train your leaders. Also, at No More Secrets, we will now be selling the sweatsuits. They are coming in purple, they're coming in gray, they're coming in orange, blue, red, burgundy. Go over to No More Secrets Inc.org to get your t-shirts, your hoodies, and now your sweatsuits. Okay, so now on to the episode at hand. Hey, I'm back. Tonight we are going to talk about. Let's see who's here. Who's here? Hey, Sharon. How you doing? Hey, Apostle and Prophetess Samuels. How are y'all? Ain't that outfit cute though? Ain't it a cute suit? And it's so comfortable. So tonight's episode, we are actually going to be talking about surviving in church. This month, I've deemed it the Survivors Month. And so, like I said in the promo, we are going to have different people come on the episode and discuss how, in fact, they are a survivor. Some have been a survivor of sexual assault, some have been survivors of domestic violence, some have been survivors of being a young widow, some have been survivors of having abortions. Like we're getting in deep this month. And so I definitely encourage everybody to come on every Monday this month to talk to different survivors. I am super excited um, about the guests that we're going to have on this month. And so I hope you join us every Monday at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We cannot wait to have you and have you come on and join us with our guests that are coming on. I don't know why I'm so nervous tonight. I'm tired, child. It's been a lot today. I got to hit and run. Somebody hit me and then sped off. So pray for your girl. Um, but tonight I'm going to talk about being a survivor in church. I've been in church all of my life. When I say all of my life, I literally mean all of my life. Well, being in church all of my life means I have experienced a lot, a whole lot. way more than most people have. And so, with that, I wanted to share some of my experiences, and I'm gonna be honest, they're not so good. However, I wanted to give both sides of it on how you can go through a lot in the church, but what you go through does not have to deter you from your relationship with God and even ministry. So, growing up in New York City, I wasn't born here, but I was raised here, right? So all I know is New York City church, whether it's the Bronx, whether it's Queens, or whether it's Brooklyn. I've even attended some Harlem churches, right? And for the most part, the African American charismatic uh, church in New York City, for the most part, is the same, right? You have, hopefully, good music, uh, decent to good preaching. You have the people shouting, you have the people running around the church. Uh, the way I grew up, demons was cast out. People came in sick and left healed. A lot of healing and deliverance took place. You got people speaking in tongues. You got people getting baptized. A lot of stuff happened, right? However, and that all looks good because it all is good. And there's another side of it, right? So there's another side of church that people have experienced, and it has deterred them from even wanting to go back to church. It has made some hate the church. It has even made some hate Christianity and leave Christianity as a whole. And it's sad because at the end of the day, our job is to show love and kindness, is to be like Christ. Instead, what we do is literally throw people off. I've always seen the church as a hospital. Just like you have sick people in the hospital, you got sick people in church. Trust me, they sick. Literally sick. I'm not talking about in the body, I'm talking about in the head. Oh, and you got people coming to church, and what are they looking for in church? They're looking to be healed, right? However, sometimes there's some casualties. Um, some casualties can be, let's see what happened. I've been preached at or about from the pulpit, and the whole church knew it was about me. Like they all looked at me. And let me be clear, I wasn't happy. Um, I was it was funny. I was sitting next to one of my good girlfriends, right? And the story was I was planning on moving to Chicago to live with my father. I was like 19. And everybody knew I was going to move because I was really excited. And I was like, yeah, I'm moving, get out of New York, go to another town, another state, rather. And there was some differences between me and one of the youth leaders. Now, the problem is when you grow up in a family church, everybody knows each other. And so everybody is very familiar with each other. And they think that disrespect is in order, right? Um, However, the little kids that grow up in church do that thing. They grow up. And with them growing up, they develop a sense of self. And so this person was preaching, probably wasn't a good message. And then they decided to say something to the extent of, and you decide that you want to cause all this hell and want to get up and move. And the whole church looked at me. I said, oh, okay. If you know me, I love shoes, especially on a good Sunday. I wear a good stiletto. Wasn't any different. I had some stilettos on that Sunday. And they was in, let's just say, the shoe went from my foot to my hand, and it was about to go towards the pulpit. And my girlfriend saw it, and she put her hand on my hand and was like, you're not going to do this. Like, you're not going to do this. All right. Big wow. Big wow. Um, and thank God for She know who she is, and she doesn't like to be in the know, but I love you. Um, and that was like one of many cases. And I know a lot of kids that grew up in church have experienced where, because they are a younger person, that it has been deemed as okay for an older person to disrespect them, to negate who they are, or to threaten them and think that it's acceptable, and it's not, right? I went to another, when I was younger, I can't front, I jumped churches. Like, you had 3 to 5 years of my life, right? Um, I went to another church, and to be honest, the people were loving. That wasn't my issue. It was just my time. It was my time to go. But before I left, the pastor pulled me in her car and said, this, I don't really have much to pour into you. There's nothing left for me to pour into you. Now, my friends, if you know me, you know my mouth, right? Um, it was late. I was tired. She caught the unfiltered Tasja. So my response was, you never poured anything into me. I came from eating steak and potatoes back down to breast milk. There was nothing for you to pour into me. Your people taught me something on how to love multiple people on different spiritual maturity levels. That's what they taught me. However, you, ma'am, big oh my, uh, you ain't teach me much. You ain't pour much, okay? So don't think so highly of yourself. Um, and then, and mind you, these are just very selected instances that I've had. It's not um the totality of my church life. Because if you've been in church a long time, you've been traumatized some way, shape, or form. It's called people operate from the kingdom of niggerdom. They just happen to be in church. Right? So this one instance I was with my ex-husband. I was attending a church, and after the whole DV situation came out, um this is where spiritual manipulation comes in. One of the ministers told me, um, God couldn't have told you to leave if he told me to mentor you. I said, well, I never said God told me to leave. My hatred for my ex-husband told me to leave. I didn't believe in being a worship leader, trying to invite people into the presence of God, if I'm hating, literally hating, like wishing you were dead, somebody in the congregation. I don't play that. I don't play with God. I love God too much. I don't do that. So she tried to use that manipulative tactic to try to get me to stay in an unhealthy situation because it would benefit her. Not cool at all. Like, at all. And so um there's a lot of things. I'm gonna be honest, there's a lot of stuff going on now, like in this present moment. I'll say there's a lot of stuff that has transpired within this weekend in New York City alone that would really want someone to leave church. And I noticed a lot that what takes place, unfortunately, is that there's a lack for leadership, lack of respect for leadership, and there's a lack of respect from leadership to the laity. And with that dynamic taking place, um, there's there's gonna be a lot of uproar coming from the church. There is. When you have people being blatantly disrespectful at homegoing services and then doubling down because they're not apologizing for what they said, you're going to cause an uproar. When you have, just see, am I going to say it enough? When you have certain leadership that are not paying, but playing their musicians, these musicians have minds, they have emotions, they have hearts, they have families that they're supporting. When you play them and expect them to play, um, you, sir, and or ma'am, are going to get played. And so it's not fair. And honestly, people are tired of it. However, I will say this. With all of the things that I've been through, and one last one. Yeah, know me, I tell on myself, so I don't care. There's nothing nobody can really say about me that I haven't told on myself. So towards the end of my marriage, I got tired of him like trying to kill me. So I cheated. Ooh, Tasja cheated. Yes, I cheated. Um, and I didn't get caught. I told him I cheated because I wanted out. Duh. Um, and so because he wanted to play victim, he went and told the leaders of the church. And they took me cheating as it being more important over him trying to kill me. Okay. And so I was brought into a meeting. And in this meeting, it was the senior pastor, the executive pastor, both females. Um, I had a counselor there. That church offered free counseling to memberships, which I would advise all churches to do if you have that in your church or able to have that. Please provide free counseling because half of your members are crazy. Um, so I had my counselor there. He had his counselor there. And then to top it off, you ready for this? All of the male ministers of the entire church were in this meeting, and not one female minister was there for me. So, who said the truth of the kingdom of the Father is not being taught? Absolutely. I can't say that everywhere, but in a lot of places, no. So I went through that experience. And when I say, if you've never felt small, child, get in a room or a space with about 10 men almost surrounding you, backing up somebody who's tried to kill you, and it's just you and one other person in support of you. Now you talking about traumatized? I'm gonna be very honest. I hate meetings for that one reason. That reason alone. Don't pull me into an office. I hate it. My heartbeat starts going fast. I literally am shaking. I don't even care if I was in the right. I don't like meetings for that reason alone. The joint is traumatizing. Okay? So, things of that nature can really cause someone. Come be honest. I didn't want to go to church for a minute. Actually, one part of my life, I left church for like a whole entire year. A whole year. That's a lot for me, for a person who's really never. Lamar, yo, when I say I hate meetings, I hate them. Okay? Hate them with a passion. Trust me, it was very crazy. While you were targeted with no truth regarding what was real. Truth is subjective to some people, so whatever with the truth. However, this is where a real relationship with God comes into place. Am I perfect? No. When I say no, I mean no. Sometimes I don't even want to act like I'm trying to be perfect. I don't want to even act like I'm trying to be Christ like. Trust me, today, when that car hit me, whoo, if there was not a lot of traffic, I would have traced that car. I would have ran that car back down and probably hit him from behind. I'm be honest. Be honest. But thank God for Jesus, right? And for traffic. Traffic spared their life. However, this is where a real relationship with Christ comes into play. Because acknowledging the fact that being hurt is a real thing. However, we also have to acknowledge the fact it does not reflect Christ's character. You still hold people accountable, just like Christ holds you accountable for what you've done. However, big however, um, for me now, it takes a lot for me to hate a person. I'll be honest, I don't use the word hate uh too much often. It's usually not towards people, it's towards like a thing. Um, or I hate what somebody has done. Because I ain't going to hell for hating nobody. Sorry. No. Um, we have to understand that that person is just not operating in the character of Christ. There's some growing that that person needs to do, some maturing that that person needs to do. There's my dog back there acting up too. Um, and we also have to differentiate the difference between flawed people and a perfect God. We serve a perfect God. We are just flawed people, and we are surrounded by flawed people who need a perfect God, right? And so taking on those types of mindsets um seriously has helped me when it comes to my journey. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think like that in the heat of the moment. Because let's be honest, like it doesn't happen. But the reality is, like, you don't think about it when the person's scandalizing your name. Like, a situation happened with me when I was 13, and half of the people that was dogging me out still don't know that I was raped. They just know something happened and they were spreading it around the church. They have no idea what the reality of that situation was. And it took me, I think, until I was in my 20s to forgive those people. It really, really did. Because stuff like that can really ruin somebody's mindset for people in church. And the reality is, I said it earlier, and this has been my coin phrase recently, like, people operate from the kingdom of niggerdom. They do. They legit do. And it's the reality of the situation. Like, they do things to make themselves feel good without taking somebody else's life, somebody else's emotions into consideration. And it's heartbreaking. And it's disheartening. And it's inconsiderate. And people don't think before they do. And it's not fair to people. Because where is God in that? People don't think about where God is in this situation. You think about where God is after the fact. But if you were to hold your peace for a little bit take all sides into consideration before opening your mouth. And trust me, I've had plenty of lessons about talking. Jesus have mercy. And I'm still learning them because life is life. But when you take all these things into consideration, like maybe you'll take somebody else's feelings in mind before you go ahead and just start randomly um talking about them, especially when you're talking about stuff you don't know. um then as the person that's going through that, you also have to realize that unfortunately in this walk, in this Christian walk, when your faith is being tested, it like hurt comes, and nobody is excluded from it. um let's get some biblical examples. Joseph went through betrayal by his brothers. Potiphar's wife played him, um lied on him, manipulated the situation, and yet he was faithful to God, and yet he did what God told him to do, right? Paul endured opposition from the fellow believers. However, he still remained faithful to his calling. And then to top it all off, Jesus, the Christ himself, faced rejection from religious believers, religious leaders, the Pharisees, the Sadducees, the people who knew the law. However, they didn't know that the living word was in front of them. So if Jesus is going to go through hurt, if Jesus is going to go through rejection, if Jesus is going to go through people trying to scandalize his name, if Jesus is going to go through uh, any and everything else, what makes us think that us being followers of Jesus is not going to go through that? Like, what makes us think that? We're not excluded from the hurt. We're not excluded from the pain. We're not excluded from betrayal. We're not. And then, but I'm gonna be honest, the human side is like, well, come on. Like, we're supposed to be held to a different standard as believers in Christ, as ones who say they love Christ, as ones who say, we're trying to live after Christ. Where's the fruit of the spirit? Where is it? How are we supposed to win souls? Like a while ago, when I was in my mid-20s, there used to be a joke going around with like church kids, like, this is why the church can't grow. And we just point out different things and laugh about it. But the reality is, this is why the church can't grow. Because you got people operating from the kingdom of niggerdom instead of kingdom of Christ. You do. And this is really why the church can't grow. However, we do understand that we have to work out our own soul salvation, right? And in working out our own soul salvation and not worrying about somebody else's salvation, we have to understand that there's forgiveness in healing, right? So while even, I'm gonna be honest, sometimes it doesn't happen while you're going through it. But I will say this. I've seen from different experiences in my life, the quicker you forgive, the quicker you can heal. Now, I'm not saying I've done it in every situation. No, no, be honest. However, um, I have experienced that in some situations. And so, forgiveness is a very personal thing. Like, it brings on a personal peace. It's not about anybody. It's not even about the other person. And I know we've heard that so much. Like, especially when we know we mad at somebody, we don't want to forgive them. They did us wrong. They did us dirty. One of my friends was like, yo, that's nasty work. Some people just, yo, they live their whole life doing nasty work. However, you need peace in your personal life. And the only way for you to get peace, you got two ways. One, through Jesus, and through Jesus comes forgiveness, which then comes peace, right? And then, however, peace doesn't mean forgetting or ignoring the wrongdoing. I still believe you have to hold the person accountable for what they did. This is Tasja. I do. As my personal belief system, a person should be held accountable for what it is that they did. That does not mean you don't forgive them, right? Um, and it hurts. Yo, let me be honest. Sometimes it hurts to forgive. Like it hurts. Like it feels like a part of you is dying because a part of you is dying. The part that wants to hold something over somebody's head, that part of your selfish ways are dying. And so forgiveness hurts. I'll be honest. Because it's so easy to hold a grudge on a person. It's so easy to do that. Oh my God. I cannot like you forever. It's easy. It is so easy to not like a person. I'm gonna be honest, the fleshy part, oh child, please. I don't wanna like you. I don't have to like you. For what? You're not a factor in my life. Why I gotta like you? Keep it a buck, right? However, is it really about how you want to feel about you? Or is your life gonna be reflective on your love for Christ? Because at the end of the day, that's the whole point, right? So you have to understand also that when trials come, when certain things happen, sometimes, not all the time, it can be spiritual warfare. Let's be clear, right? You have to recognize that the enemy uses division in the church to weaken faith. Sometimes something can happen in the church that'll literally like split a church in half or in thirds or in quarters. Like, however, where's the faith? Where's the discernment? Where is the coming together as one body to strengthen those who are weak? Like, if I'm strong in this area and I see you're weak in this area, it's my job to help strengthen you. Where is that? Where is us really living out what we read? Where is us living out what we preach? Where is us living out what we say we believe? Where is it? And at this point, we need to just really hone in on what it is that we say we believe. Do we believe what we say we believe? Do we believe what we say we preach? Do we believe what we say we teach? Like, where is it? And so, even going through all of this stuff, it takes a lot to survive in church when you've been hurt so bad. It's not gonna be a long broadcast. Normally I have like an hour. It ain't an hour today. So I want to thank you everybody who has come on. Some have come, some have left, some are going back and forth. I want to thank you for coming on because it wasn't gonna be long today. Um, but I do want us to understand that although we go through in the church, we must understand that church is a hospital. Like, and I said it in the beginning because I really, really do feel that way. I'll be honest, sometimes that doesn't come to my mind when things are going on. It might come to my mind later on when I have to go back and look back in retrospect at the situation. However, just like I'm learning daily in my walk, I'm employing you to do the same, right? Let's take what we say. I don't know why that's sticking to me tonight. Let's take what we say we believe in to heart and flesh it out and walk it out. Because although we've been hurt in church, we can still survive in church. And it really comes with a real relationship with God, a real one. Not, I was raised in church and I'm just going to go to church every Sunday because that's what I'm accustomed to. Because, we've done that too, especially us church babies. But it comes with, if the preacher does something scandalous, if the musicians don't play my favorite song, if the praise team doesn't sing my favorite song, if something happens, if somebody doesn't talk to me, if somebody looks at me the wrong way, if somebody lies on me, if somebody does whatever, am I still going to worship God? Am I still going to live for Jesus? Like, at the end of the day, I'll be honest, being hurt in church will test the mess up out of your relationship with Christ. It will test you to your core. Jesus have mercy. But this is where you will find out if you really believe what you say you believe. And so my prayer for all of us tonight, especially those church babies who have been hurt, um, mm, for those who have been mishandled by leadership, for those who have been molested by the pastor, the priest, for those who have been forced to do things in ministry that you were not called to do, for those who have been overlooked, for those who felt like they never had a voice, for those who felt like your life isn't worth any value. Let me encourage you today. God sees all, God knows all, and God loves you in spite of it all. And so I pray for you that your faith does not fail. I pray that somewhere in your hurt, that you find a place where you can forgive, that you and God have a real conversation. Like, get down and dirty, get to the nitty gritty. Tell God how you really feel. And then your healing can really take place. That is literally how I have survived church and am surviving church, with still having the heart for ministry. Why? Because at the end of the day, for me, one thing I always learned from one of the pastors I've been under, it's all about the furtherance of the gospel. If nothing else, the gospel has to be preached. So what are you doing on your end to making sure that the kingdom's message is being advanced, that it's being spread, that it's reaching the lost souls? What are you doing on your end to making sure that the person who is going through the same thing that you have gone through now has hope to come out? That, my friends, is how I have survived church and still have had the heart for ministry. All right. So I love you all. I told you we cutting it short. I love you all. I thank you all so much for joining me today. If you haven't already, make sure you go to YouTube and subscribe to Talking with Tasja, because for the rest of the month, we are showing only on YouTube. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification button. And I will see you every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. Love you. Deuces.